Failure. It's a word that scares most people, a word that makes hearts sink and confidence crumble. We're taught since childhood that failure is something to avoid, something to be ashamed of. But what if I told you that failure isn't the end? What if it's actually the beginning of everything great that's ever happened in your life? The truth is, failure doesn't destroy you. It introduces you to yourself. It strips away all illusions, all comfort, and all excuses until what's left is the raw version of you and the fighter. You see, every person who's ever achieved something extraordinary has met failure more times than success. The difference? They didn't stop there. They looked failure in the eye and said, "All right, you hit me hard, but I'm still here." That's where greatness begins, not in winning, but in standing up after losing. Because every time you fail, you're learning something life couldn't teach you otherwise. You're learning patience, humility, and the art of resilience. When the world turns its back on you and you're left alone with your mistakes, that's when real growth starts. It's not in the moments of applause or recognition. It's in the silence of defeat. That silence tests your soul. It asks you, are you done, or do you still have something left inside? And if you choose to rise even when it hurts, even when it feels pointless, that's when life starts to bend in your favor. Think about it. A seed has to break before it grows. A diamond forms only under pressure. The night gets darkest just before dawn. Failure is the same. It's the pressure that polishes you, the darkness that forces you to find your light. So stop looking at failure as a wall. It's a door. But only those who refuse to quit have the strength to open it. And maybe you've failed more times than you can count. Maybe people have stopped believing in you. Maybe you've even stopped believing in yourself. But here's the truth. Failure doesn't define you. Quitting does. As long as you're still trying, still breathing, still showing up when everything in you wants to give up, you're winning in ways most people never will. So the next time you fail, don't hang your head in shame. Stand tall, because failure means you tried. It means you dared to dream when others chose to stay safe. It means you were brave enough to take a risk that most people only talk about. You might have lost the battle, but the war isn't over yet. Not until you decide it is. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning of your story. The version where you rise stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. Every scar, every mistake, every time you thought it was over, and it was never over. It was just preparing you for something greater. You just have to believe that your journey doesn't end in the fall. It begins there. Because the ones who make it aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. There's a moment in every dreamer's journey when everything starts to feel heavy. The fire that once burned bright starts to fade. You're tired, frustrated, and exhausted from fighting battles no one sees. You've given your all, your time, your sleep, your energy, and yet the results are nowhere in sight. That's when your mind whispers the most dangerous words you'll ever hear. Maybe it's time to give up. But here's the truth. That moment, the one where you feel like you can't take another step, is the closest you've ever been to your breakthrough. That's not the time to stop. That's the time to push harder. Because the world always tests you right before it rewards you. Most people don't fail because they can't do it. They fail because they stop trying one day too soon. Success doesn't come with a warning sign. It doesn't tell you, hang on, tomorrow's your day. It just shows up when you least expect it, when you've endured enough to deserve it. And if you quit right before that moment, you'll never know how close you were. Think about the miner who digs for gold. He swings his pickaxe day after day, cutting through rock, sweat dripping from his face. After months of trying, he gives up. He walks away. But what he doesn't know is that the gold was just a few inches away from where he stopped. That's how life works. Your success might be just one more step, one more day, one more try away. But that final push, it's the hardest. That's where dreams are tested, and quitters are separated from winners. Every legend, every hero, every name you admire, they've all stood at that breaking point. They've all heard that same voice saying, you can't do it anymore. The difference is they didn't listen. They pushed through the pain, and that's where they found their power. You see, the moment you want to quit is not the end, it's the turning point. It's life's way of asking, do you really want this? And your answer, your fight in that moment, decides everything. You can either surrender and live with regret, or push forward and live with pride. The truth is, winning isn't always about strength. It's about endurance. The people who make it aren't the smartest or the most talented. They're just the ones who refused to stop when it got hard. They understood that struggle is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. And maybe right now you're at that point. You're tired of trying, tired of hoping. You're wondering if any of this will ever pay off. Listen to me, it will. But only if you don't stop now. Because the pain you're feeling today is not the signal to quit. It's the signal that you're almost there, so when it hurts, keep going. When it breaks you, keep fighting. When your heart says enough, tell it, not yet. Because one day, you'll look back at this moment, or the one where you almost gave up, and realize that it was the moment that changed everything. Remember this: the storm doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to test your strength. And if you can survive the storm, the sun will rise for you. Pain is something we all try to run from. We numb it, hide from it, pretend it doesn't exist. But what if pain isn't your enemy? What if pain is your greatest teacher? The silent force that's been shaping you into who you were always meant to be. The truth is, pain doesn't destroy you. It refines you. It burns away weakness, it breaks your ego, and it leaves behind something unshakable: strength. No one grows in comfort. The muscles of the body don't build without resistance, and neither does the mind. The strongest people you know, the ones who inspire you, the ones who stand tall when everyone else crumbles, they didn't become that way because life was kind to them. They became that way because life tested them again and again, and they refused to break. Pain builds character in a way that comfort never could. Every tear, every scar, every sleepless night adds another layer to your strength. You don't see it right away, but pain is quietly teaching you discipline, patience, and resilience. It's preparing you for the moments ahead. Moments where you'll need every ounce of strength you've earned. Think about the times you were broken. When everything went wrong. When nothing made sense, when you thought it was all over. You survived that. You made it through. And you're stronger now, even if you can't see it yet. That strength didn't come from happiness or ease, and it came from pain. The nights you wanted to quit but didn't. The days you felt lost but kept going. That's where strength is born. In the fire, not in the sunshine. There's a quote that says, "Pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever." It's true. The pain you feel now will fade, but the strength it leaves behind will stay with you for the rest of your life. Pain teaches you that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. It forces you to dig deeper, to find a version of yourself that only appears when things get hard. Most people fear pain because they think it's a punishment. But the truth is, pain is an opportunity. It's life saying, here's your chance to grow. It's the moment you're given the choice to either crumble or rise. And if you choose to rise, you come out with something no one can take away. Inner power. When you look back one day, you'll realize the pain you went through wasn't breaking you. It was building you. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every failure, they were the bricks that built your foundation. Without them, you wouldn't have the strength to handle what's coming next. So don't run from pain. Embrace it. Let it do its work. Let it carve out the weak parts of you and reveal the warrior that's been hiding underneath. Because pain doesn't come to stop you. It comes to prepare you. The ones who make it, the ones who truly rise above, are not the ones who avoided pain. They're the ones who looked it in the eye and said, "Do your worst." They understood that every wound carries wisdom, and every scar tells a story of survival. So remember this. Pain isn't the sign that you're losing. It's the sign that you're growing. It's the universe's way of building your strength brick by brick. And one day when you've made it, when the world finally sees your success, they'll never know what it cost you. They'll never see the pain that built your strength, but you'll know. And you'll be grateful for every moment that hurt. Because that's the moment you became unstoppable. There will always be voices, loud, sharp and convincing, telling you that you can't. Some will come from people around you, others from inside your own head. Doubt, it's sneaky. It starts as a whisper, then grows into a roar until you can't hear anything else. And if you listen long enough, it wins. But belief is the weapon that silences doubt. It's the one thing that can make the impossible possible. Belief doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to let reality define what's possible for you. Every person who ever did something great started with belief. Not proof, not guarantees, just belief. They believed when no one else did. They saw light when all anyone else saw was darkness. See, the human mind is powerful. When you believe, your body follows. When you believe, your actions change. Belief gives you energy when there's none left. It gives you courage when fear has you by the throat. It's not magic, it's mindset. It's you saying, I may not be there yet, but I know I will be. There will always be people who doubt you. Some will doubt your skills, others your dreams. And the sad part? Sometimes there'll be people you love. But their doubt isn't your problem. Their disbelief isn't your limit. The only belief that matters is yours. Because you're the one who has to live your life, not them. The truth is, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Failure at least teaches you something. Doubt stops you before you even start. It convinces you that it's safer not to try, that maybe you're not good enough. And that's how dreams die. Not with a crash, but with quiet surrender. But belief? Belief keeps dreams alive. It keeps you moving when logic says stop. You don't need to see the whole path, just the next step. That's belief. You don't need applause or validation. That's belief. You just need that voice inside whispering, keep going. You're made for this. Because when that voice becomes stronger than the noise around you, that's when everything changes. Think of every person you admire, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the creators, the survivors. What do they all have in common? They believed when they had no reason to. They kept showing up when no one was watching. They turned belief into a habit. And that's what changed their world. Belief doesn't guarantee that you won't fail. It guarantees that you'll get back up every time you do. It's what turns defeat into fuel and fear into fire. Without belief, the first obstacle will break you. But with belief, every obstacle becomes proof of your strength. So when doubt starts screaming in your ear, don't fight it with fear. Fight it with belief. Say to yourself, maybe I'm not there yet. Maybe I've failed before, but I'm not done. Because belief isn't about knowing you'll win. It's about knowing you'll never stop trying until you do. You were never meant to live an ordinary life. You were meant to rise, and belief is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. Hold on to it like your life depends on it, because it does. In the end, it's not your talent, your resources, or your luck that decide your destiny. It's your belief. That quiet, stubborn belief that says, I can. That's your greatest weapon against doubt. And if you use it, there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stop you. There will come a time when it hurts, not a little, but deep. The kind of pain that makes you question everything. The kind that whispers, doubt, stop, it's not worth it. But listen to me. That's the exact moment you have to keep moving. Because pain is not your enemy. Pain is proof that you're growing. Every champion you've ever admired has walked through fire. Not one of them got there without scars. They cried, they broke, they doubted. But they kept going. That's the difference. Ordinary people stop when it hurts. Winners move through it. See, pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to prepare you. Every ache, every sleepless night, every rejection, every failure. They're all shaping you into something stronger. But only if you keep moving. The moment you stop, pain wins. The moment you push through, you do. There's beauty in struggle. There's power in surviving what was meant to break you. You may not see it now, but the version of you that's coming, the one forged through this pain, will thank you for not giving up. When you're in pain, your mind will tell you stories that it's over, that you failed, that no one cares. Don't listen, pain lies. It wants you to settle. It wants you to quit. But you're not here to quit. You're here to rise. And the only way to rise is to walk through the fire, not around it. Think of every step you take through pain as resistance training for your soul. Every tear, every failure, every moment you thought you couldn't, it's building endurance. It's teaching you what real strength feels like. Not the kind that looks good on camera, but the kind that survives when the lights go out. The truth is, healing doesn't come from stopping. It comes from moving forward while it hurts. Because movement brings clarity. Progress brings hope. Even one small step can remind you that the pain isn't permanent. You are. When you keep moving through pain, something incredible happens. Pain loses its power. It stops controlling you. You realize it can't stop you unless you let it. And that's when freedom begins. You start seeing pain not as punishment, but as a signal that you're alive, that you're in the process of becoming unstoppable. Look at any great story. Every hero has a moment of pain that defines them. That breaking point where it could have all ended, but didn't. That's what makes the story worth telling. And your story is no different. This pain you're feeling, one day it'll become the reason someone else doesn't give up. So don't stop. Not today. Not when it hurts. Not when no one believes in you. Keep moving. Crawl if you must, but move. Because the moment you stop, you surrender your power. And the moment you move, you're not even through the pain when you take it back. Remember this. Pain is temporary. Growth is permanent. What you feel now will fade, but what you become through it will last forever. Every time you push forward when it hurts, you earn a piece of strength that no one can ever take away. So keep going. Not because it's easy, not because you're fearless, but because deep down you know this. You were not born to break here. You were born to rise from it. Keep moving even when it hurts. That's how warriors are made. That's how legends are born. There comes a moment in everyone's life when it feels like everything is over. The doors close. The lights go out. The people you trusted disappear. And you start to believe the lie that your story has ended. But listen closely. Your story isn't over yet. You see, every ending in life is just a setup for a greater beginning. Failure isn't the final chapter. It's just the middle of the book. The greatest stories ever told were never perfect. They were messy, painful, full of heartbreak and struggle, but that's exactly what made them powerful. And right now, your pain, it's just part of your story's plot twist. When you feel lost, when you feel broken, when you feel like giving up, that's the author testing your character. Because no hero becomes legendary without surviving the storm. You may not see the purpose of what's happening right now, but one day you will. One day you'll look back and realize the nights that broke you were actually the nights that built you. Maybe you failed. Maybe you lost people. Maybe life hit harder than you ever imagined. But guess what? You're still here. You're breathing. And as long as you're breathing, your story continues. You still have pages left to write, victories left to claim, mountains left to climb. Think of every setback as a comma, not a full stop. Because commas mean pause and continue, not end and forget. And that's what life is, a series of commas. You fall, you rise. You break, you rebuild. But you always continue. There are millions of people who gave up right before their breakthrough. They quit one chapter too soon. Don't be one of them, because your breakthrough might not be tomorrow or next week. But it's coming. And when it does, every tear, every sleepless night, every heartbreak will suddenly make sense. Your story is not about how perfect you are. It's about how you kept moving even when everything was imperfect. People might have doubted you, rejected you, ignored you. But you don't need their approval. You just need your belief. Because every person who ever made history once stood exactly where you are now thinking it was over. But they chose to keep writing. And so should you. So the next time life knocks you down, whisper to yourself, this is not the end. This is just the beginning of a comeback. Because comebacks always start with chaos, and stories worth telling always rise from ashes. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not finished. You are still becoming who you're meant to be. So keep turning the page even if it's hard to see what's next. Because the world hasn't read your best chapter yet. One day people will look at your journey and say, that's the one who never gave up. That's the one who turned pain into purpose. And in that moment you'll realize, every hardship was worth it. Your story isn't over. It's just getting started.